This trip is a little bit complicated. It's a lot of planning coming together. Woo! Lake Temagami. I have looked at this lake on maps for a long time. It's really cool to finally be here. We've explored a bit of the area up north, mostly Lady Evelyn and Sugarbush Conservation Reserve on previous videos I've done, but never this area before. I know it's kind of a staple of touring the Temagami area. We're probably kind of doing one of the most popular loops, which is the Obabika Loop, but I've been calling this trip the Obabika Loop on steroids because we're doing something a little bit bigger than that. So far, Lake Temagami's being pretty friendly to us. With a 15-kilometer-an-hour headwind, I thought this lake would be a little bit worse, but not in the main section yet. Coming for me. Leave me alone. Oh, I pooped. This seagull pooped on Castle. He almost pooped on her. Get out of here. That was a big wake from that boat. They didn't slow down at all. It might be the closest I've ever got to a loon. In the boat, at least. We're already in the area where I planned on staying for the night, bare minimum, because I wasn't sure what time we were going to actually get up here and how bad the wind was going to be. But yeah, it's only like 1 o'clock in the afternoon, so we got plenty of time left to do a bit more of a push. So the new plan to me is probably going to try and stay in one of the sites in Portages Bay and see how the wind is on the big open section of Lake Temagami. And if we wake up in the morning and it's just horrible, it's really not that far to backtrack and come back to this point and paddle up through the narrower easterly section of Lake Temagami through a chain of, I think, separate lakes, technically. Cool little site. Loving all the red pines up here. It's something you don't get a lot of down where we live. One of the things that makes it special to me. Crazy rock slides. Not much left of the cliffs up above. Looked like a pretty nice site. Kind of a beach site. Looks like a gravelly beach site. If the other sites up here are taken, probably coming back to that one. Just give me a minute. We ended up taking a site in Portages Bay, not the one I intended on taking, but this one definitely looked better. Nice long gravel beach to explore. The site was a little trashed. People are animals, that's for sure. We kind of cleaned up whatever trash we could, Probably gonna burn some of it. A lot of broken glass and that. We're too early in the trip to say we're gonna haul it out with us. Sometimes we will take some trash out with us if we're near the end of our trip. Yeah, just be prepared for that. There's always some trash on the easy sites to get to because people just boat in usually and leave stuff behind. Kind of funny how that works. Like, if you can easily access it, you think you'd be easily able to take your trash out with you, but rarely to never the case. My guess is somebody's been feeding these ducks a lot. They want to come close. Oh, nah. Now. You dingo. Leave the ducks alone. Hope they all attack you. So the site we're on now, on the map looks like it was on the other side of the peninsula, and apparently it is as well, because there's a site here. We just didn't paddle quite far enough to see it, and it's just kind of a little hole in the bushes. But I'm kind of glad we are where we are, because it's way buggier over here. Don't ask me why. We both have the same swamp situation right behind the campsite, but you'd think this one would be better. I mean, it's facing into the wind right now.
Yeah, I feel like it's like day 6 or day 7 I start being like, ooh, final camping meal, like, and I dream up stuff and I'm like, I don't care what the money is, like, give me like 3 cheeseburgers, like a double quarter pounder, a large chocolate chip.
So it looks like we're gonna have to kind of change our game plan today, because as we were finishing breakfast, it got a little windy and rainy. It does not look like fun to paddle Temagami right now. So we're gonna have to go with our game plan and head up the channel to the east. We're gonna do a little bit of backtracking, but that's all right. At least the wind's working with us for that part. I really wanted to paddle that lake, but it looked pretty brutal today. Never seen such great reviews on a Thunderbox before. Well,
Ryan's looking at the map by himself, talking to himself a lot. It's really odd.
what a weirdo.
I know.
There's the sun. Amazing the difference from one side to the other. That point just protects us. It's like a whole different day over here. Something tells me that what we were experiencing this morning might have just been the changeover in the weather. Kind of willing to bet if we had just hung out there a little bit longer that the other side of the point that we were on might have calmed right down and looked completely paddleable. Last bit of fog burning off the lake. One of my favorite things about being out here. At this point, we're probably about as far north as our campsite was last night. So we got a lot of push left to go today. The channel's nice. I'm sure it's not as scenic as a lake would have been, but there's some nice scenery, some big hills and that, like that. And who knows? Maybe there's some hidden treasures along this way. Aruba, Jamaica, ooh, I wanna take you to Key Largo, Montego. Baby, why don't we go down to Coco? We'll get there fast and then we'll take it slow. That's where we wanna go. Way down at Coco. Welcome to Coco. I pictured more palm trees. Just about to round the bend on Coco into the bigger section of it, and I already see whitecaps. Does not bode well for travel when we get back on Lake Temagami. As long as we get across this and get to hike Devil's Mountain today, should be alright. A little windy, a little wavy. Ooh, but nice to get a break from the wind. There's a couple little islands we managed to duck behind and a little bit of a break. Plus it's more scenic. Lay down. There you go. Ooh, Portage. My butt.
It's a big pine tree. You good? What's up? Squirrel or pine marten? No one sees it. Are we going? These are bunch berries. Looks like we'll be ready to have some berries soon. Pretty sure they're edible, but haven't ever tried them. Maybe we should do that this year.
Back on Temagami Lake, and so far it doesn't look that windy, but kind of in a small bay, so we're pretty protected. I'm sure it's much worse out in the open. Well, we're getting our first view of Devil's Mountain. Looks pretty high. Nothing like the Elephant or Patina Ridge, but we're probably going to either stop for lunch before we climb it or just take some snacks up to the top and relax and enjoy the view for a bit. Starting our way up the Devil's Mountain hike. Does not look very long on the map, probably like half a kilometer or something, but at the start of it looks pretty steep. Whoa!
Jesus Christ.
Almost fell to my death.
Wait, it almost fell into me.
Castle would have saved me. Holy crap. Starting to get good.
Can we eat that?
You can definitely eat that. Moss is a great source of water. Clean, fresh water. Just pick it up and squeeze it into your mouth. Delicious. Yes, no, we're coming.
No.
Family photo.
Want a family photo?
Pretty cool. He must have just come out. You can still see his cocoon sitting right below him. Back on the water. Hike was steep, but the views were spectacular. We're gonna try and push up another 4K or something like that, and then hopefully find a site somewhere near the Ferguson hiking trails. And maybe check that out later tonight or in the morning. So far, Lake Temagami has been a hell of a ride, but the scenery is just spectacular. I've been looking at a map of this place for years. I think Temagami was one of the first maps I ever got when I started getting into backcountry camping, and I literally used it as a curtain in my bedroom for a few years. So I studied the map a little bit, which is always a good thing. But it's great to finally be doing a tour of the main lakes that made this place famous. Of all the parks I've been to, Temagami always blows everything away. The scenery, the struggle, and the wildlife. I feel like Temagami never disappoints on wildlife, which this trip's been no exception so far. With the bear, Castle Saw Fox, the encounter with the ducks, and the loon. We're not even done day 2. Can't wait to see what else Temagami has in store for us for the rest of the trip. Oh, Ferguson Bay is not kidding around. Rolled around the corner and all this on a crazy wind. Oh god, I think we can see the sight for the night. Just gotta fight it for a little bit longer.
You're super in the way. You're not going in the tent right now.
Made it to a site for the night on the east side of Ferguson, but not the nicest site. All the sites in this section did not seem to be very nice. I guess it's not very well traveled or something. Hey, beggars can't be choosers, and we're all tuckered. In fact, I'm going for a little nap. It is not the most ideal launch spot here. It's pretty steep and super slippery, so pull the boat way up. The epitome of a bad spot to launch a boat. Beautiful day to do some paddling though. We're gonna paddle over to the Ferguson hikes. Well, actually, we're gonna paddle over to a portage that apparently has falls on it, and then we're gonna jump onto the hikes for the Ferguson trail and probably see one of the lookouts on it just to check things out. Oh, a loon. Ooh, splish splash. It's gonna break my heart if we paddle down to the next site, which was another 1.5 kilometers down the lake, and find out it was beautiful. Loving Ferguson Bay for all the cliffs. It's a really beautiful area. The whole one side is just steep, steep cliffs. Kind of would have been behind our campsite last night. Which, that's why the sun didn't come up till really late. I can imagine if you did the whole Ferguson trail system, there'd be quite a few good lookouts on it. It just seems to run along the shore and probably back into the cliffs. So I wish we had time to do the whole thing, but we gotta keep pushing because we probably want to end up at Lady Evelyn Falls tonight, ideally, which is totally doable. Should be easier than the day we had yesterday. Well, I think I found the site that we could have stayed on last night if we kept pushing, and yeah, it's definitely nicer than what we stayed on. Although that would have been a battle in the wind we had at the time. So. Oh God, well, we would have had this as a view. That's pretty spectacular. The echo here is pretty crazy. Woo! Did you get in on the echo, Nona? Quite the set of cliffs. I swear the water is getting clearer and clearer up into the north end of the lake. I don't remember it being this clear when we started the trip. Think we found the trail? Go, 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 go. Good girl, go, good girl. That was pretty good. Ooh.
We're filming. We're filming.
The trail doesn't look super well traveled, as you can see, but it is flagged. You can see flags every 20 or so feet so far. So hopefully we're able to follow it. Somebody fell out of the nest. Well, I made it to the top. Wouldn't say the view is as spectacular as Devil's Mountain, but it's pretty nice, and the hike was far less dangerous. But can't probably hang out here for very long because still got a lot of ground to cover for the day. Wait. Okay. Whew. Back on the water and having fun. We didn't end up going to check out the falls. The little stream that it would have been on didn't look super impressive, so the liberty of saying that the falls is probably not going to be that impressive because of the size of the stream. And the hike took a little bit longer than we thought. Worth it. Nice view. We're just starting to work our way across Ferguson Bay over to Napoleon's Portage, which apparently has a hike kind of teeing off of it that'll take you up to Ferguson Mountain, which I can already see in the distance. Looks like it might be the least epic of the hikes in the last 24 hours, but damn, this area is full of lots of cool lookouts and actual trails going up to them, so that's a big benefit. I mean, I love a good bushwhack as much as the next guy, but trail, ooh, I'll take the trail any day. That's not a good sign. Haven't spotted any yet. I think that sign's there for a reason. Portage was not called poison ivy. So we ended up opting out of the Ferguson Mountain hike. It looked super steep, even though it wasn't long. And with the wind picking up and everything, and where we got to be tonight, Lady Evelyn Falls, we were thinking we'll just keep pushing. Beautiful spot here though. Just a sandy, shallow bay. Possibly somebody taking the easy ride in. That might be the same one we saw like 10 minutes ago. Finally getting a little bit of wind assist for the trip. I think that's pretty much a first for the whole trip. We're almost at the Portage into Diamond. Looking forward to getting off the big water for a change. It's been fun having next to no portages, but yeah, I'm ready to not fight the wind even on a nice day. It's one thing to be prepared for if you're doing a trip like this. It's almost comparable to something like Georgian Bay. I know it doesn't get as bad as Georgian Bay, but these have all been calm days and we've still fought the wind pretty hard at some point in the day or the other. Makes for a big adventure. Bye, Temagami. See you in a few days. Oh, we're now entering the park. Wasn't expecting a road here, but after looking at the map, I was like, yeah, there's a road here. I was here the whole time.
Watch your step.
Sharp Rock Portage was appropriately named. Plenty of sharp rocks on that one. Diamond Lake is bigger than I expected. Wasn't expecting it to be this big. I don't know why. When we stopped at the last portage, I looked at the kilometers and I'm like, yeah, it's gonna be 5 kilometers just to hit up Lady Evelyn Falls. But I don't know why I didn't compute in my head that it would be this big. Cool looking lake though. Reminds me of a lot of the lakes in Chiniguchi. Well, seems like we're almost at Lady Evelyn Falls. I swear I can hear it, but could just be the wind. Hopefully the push was worth it, and hopefully all the sights around it aren't taken. It's always heartbreak when you push this hard for something and end up with the sights taken. Hey, that's the way it goes with first come, first served. It also means you don't have to book it 6 months in advance sometimes. I'm alright with the trade-off. Stuff.
Okay.
Good morning. It is a bit rainy today, but we still got to push because we got to meet my buddy Luke up at Sucker Gut, hopefully either tonight or tomorrow sometime. We got places to be. Rain ain't stopping us. Although it might be a bit of a crappy day. The rain screwed off for a little bit and I thought we might be getting lucky and it was all over with, but no, as soon as we got most of the gear packed up, it started raining again, so we're paddling in the rain for sure. Of course, this is the hardest it's rained all morning. No, I didn't say yes yet. My favorite bird. I don't see a wren though. Coming into Peanut Butter and Banana Bay, apparently, according to the map. I've been looking at this spot since we started the trip and wondering, what's the story behind this? I'd love to know why it's called that. Good girl. That Portage was a little bit longer than it said on the map. Looks like Beaver Dam must have blew out. Probably turned into like a 5 something. A little bit of a swamp walk at the end. But hey, we're here. On an unnamed lake, I'm pretty sure. Didn't wait. Okay, small dog. Watch your step. I think that was our last portage for the day. So far, the portage has been pretty easy. Not the usual Temagami beatdown that we're used to. Kind of grateful for it. Come on, Nona. Let's go. Come on.
You can do it.
Come on, Nona.
No, you gotta go to the boat.
I don't know what you want me to do. We're going. You gotta come with. Let's go. Good girl. See, it wasn't that hard. Nona's being a royal pain in the butt today. We're not having a good time. But this is Willow Island Lake, eh? Expected more willows. I'm wondering if we might not quite make it to where we wanted to today, because we're just getting some good practical thunder. But I haven't heard one in a few minutes, so thinking we'll probably try and keep pushing. Also realized this is the closest we've ever been to Maple Mountain on any of our quests to get there. So, ooh, that was lightning. Yeah, we should probably stop. Good thing we're right by the lake. We shouldn't be on the water if we're seeing it, that's for sure. Oh, no camping. Why? Well, we're not technically camping, so.
I don't think it matters in this situation.
Yeah.
Can you see what it says?
It says the campsite's closed, but I'm sure in this situation, up for grabs. Hopefully it just passes over and we carry on anyway. Looks like we're going to get back on the water. Storm's kind of subsided a little bit, and we got some wind coming at us. So probably means a change in the system usually when all of a sudden it gets really windy. Here's hoping. Whoa. Nona, let's go. Let's go. Good girl. Good girl, Nona. That was a little hairy. Thought I forgot the tarp for a second. Oh, that would have been bad to have to go back there and do that launch again. Pretty sure I'm just starting to see Maple Mountain peek over the trees. Whoa! The sun! Haven't seen that in a while. I don't know if that was you or me. What a view. Doesn't get much better than this. We're not sure if this site has the best possible view, but damn, it's nice. And it's also got a really cool fire pit. One of the coolest I've ever seen. This spot should set us up pretty good for the hike up Maple Mountain tomorrow, so we decided to stop here. We were hoping to run into my friends by the end of today, but it seemed like kind of a stretch, especially considering the weather we had today. I don't know if you can hear it, but it's still kind of rumbling off in the background. But there she is, hike for tomorrow. She likes it.
I'm good with my hands right now.
That's a wind. Some of the trees in the foreground starting to disappear now. It's coming. Rain time. Yeah, this is usually what happens when we try and climb Maple Mountain. Closest we've ever been though. How do you feel about the rain?
It's nice to view now that we're not in the canoe, but earlier I was kind of fed up with it.
Tarp's keeping us fairly dry. It's not too bad, but it is raining cats and dogs right now. I wonder how my buddy Luke is making out. I can't wait to see them and ask them how their first day of the trip was, because it was probably pretty bad. Good morning. We had a hell of a night last night. We kept getting these crazy bursts of wind and rain. At one point I thought the tarp had blown off, but managed to make it through the night all right. So we're gonna do a little push up towards Maple Mountain and try and find a site big enough to accommodate everybody that's probably showing up today. At least I hope they're showing up today. I mean, it's a little windy, so it might be a little bit rough for them. If we have time, which we probably will, I think we're gonna try and hike it today. We're just hoping the weather goes a little bit better for it. It's still iffy and looking like rain. Can't even really see the mountain off in the distance. It's too foggy. I gotta get in the boat first, remember? Remember? Ooh. Okay. Good girl. Maple Mountain never seems to give us a break. The spirits are angry. Well, we ended up finding a pretty nice big open site for ourselves with another spectacular view of Maple Mountain. This might be the premier campsite along the way. It should accommodate all of us if they show up. The wind going up these chain of lakes has just been mental. I can't believe how bad it is for such little lakes. We're currently developing a theory that there's a spirit at the top of Maple Mountain and it's been taken over by some evil entity that tries to stop you from getting to the top. kind of like the temples in Zelda. So hopefully we can defeat the evil spirit and save the princess. We'll see. Coming, Nona? We ended up deciding to send it on the Maple Mountain hike. We were waiting around, hoping that my buddy Luke would show up, but yeah, it doesn't seem like he's gonna make it in time for us to do the hike. And my buddy JP's got to get out of here tomorrow, so he's pretty much got to do the hike today. Wouldn't be fun for him to do it in the morning and then still have to paddle 17 or 20 kilometers out. So since we had such a short day today, probably only like 4 or 5 kilometers of travel, we're just paddling up through the narrow section and up to the start of the hike. Ooh, it's sandy. Oh, I see it. Definitely not as obvious as the spot for Ishpatina Ridge. It's a little tricky to find, but if you follow the shoreline, you will find it. Keep your eyes out for the Portage sign. Would be the worst portage ever, probably, if it was actually a portage. Now all we have to do is make it to the top. What can stop us now? Keeping dry feet. John Paul and his snake. Gonna keep him?
Yeah. That's where you were going, buddy.
John Paul literally just made a comment to find him a moose, and we spotted moose tracks in the mud. Looks like it's heading up to the top too. I think we're taking our shoes off for this section. It must be higher than when they built the bridge because the bridge sinks. Nona tested it out for us, did a great job. Going back over the bridge, Nona? Yeah, it doesn't float. Ooh, that's cold. I'm scared to step on that and have it slide. Okay, it's not too bad. Doesn't work as intended though.
You shall not pass.
Maple Mountain is still throwing everything it's got at us. That's for sure. We're doing it though. Might as well just give up. Well, at least we're finally gaining some altitude. So far, I'm gonna say the Maple Mountain hike is a lot less well traveled than the Ishpatina Ridge. It is a bit harder to follow, tighter trails and stuff, and a lot of trees and obstacles on it. The trail is still fairly obvious, unless we're following the wrong trail. We're definitely hitting some steeper sections now. Probably steeper than anything on the Ishpatina Ridge hike. The Ishpatina Ridge hike has some sections that are fairly steep, but they're not really a boulder garden like this is. And they're probably only like a 30-degree slope. I'm gonna call this close to a 45. No, no. This part of the trail just has you following a little stream and probably getting wet feet.
Not probably. They're wet.
They're wet? We're getting pretty close to the summit, but we're running out of oxygen. We're contemplating turning back. If I don't make it, you guys can eat me.
Okay.
I'll taste delicious.
Meat's not on the menu, but.
We got a huge wall of granite ahead of us though. Not sure how we're surmounting that. And we reached a ladder. That's how we surmount the granite wall. Holy crap, man. There's our site.
Hey, that's Betty's hole.
Yep, pretty sweet view. Definitely better than Ishpatina Ridge. A lot sketchier though. At the top of Maple Mountain. Holy crap. This is technically lower than Ishpatina Ridge. It's a much nicer view. Not as many blueberries though. Ishpatina Ridge is pretty good too, but yeah, after being up here, it has nothing on Maple Mountain. This is just spectacular. Oh God, after multiple failed attempts, we finally made it. Feels good. There's an incredible amount of moose poop at the top of Maple Mountain. Was not expecting that. First of all, come through that last section, I don't even know how a moose would get up that. Second of all, why does a moose want to come up here? I don't know. They must appreciate nice views too. Maple Mountain is known as Chi Bei Jing by the indigenous people of the area. This loosely translates to ghost, spirit, or corpse mountain. Needless to say, this is a sacred area for them, so please be respectful. That was a hike. Freaking beautiful. This ladder that you see behind me was kind of the end of the trail for Nona Puppy, apparently. She did actually make it to the top, but I was pretty scared for her to go any further because it gets real sketchy beyond this point. Just working our way back down now. Probably going to be a lot easier than the way up.
I should probably have somebody slow me down.
So we've conquered the mountain. And the spirit still seems angry. Still a bit windy. Although the day's a lot nicer. Happy to see the sun again. Bye, Maple Mountain. It's been a slice. Well, looks like everybody's at the site waiting for us. Wonder what time they got here. More importantly, I wonder how the last 2 days have been for them. How was your first day?
It just rained the whole day. What about you guys?
Rained the whole day.
Ryan's
Last
like,
night
it
the
can't possibly rain the whole day, and then it.
It rained the whole
But
day.
we got the so the Portage out. A motorboat put all our gear in their motorboat, and a truck comes and picks them up.
Yeah.
And takes them to the top. All our gear got carried across.
Yeah.
I just had to carry the canoe.
That's not bad.
Luke, will this work? You gotta get a J stroke in there.
road again. We're on our last stretch paddling. Old John Paul. He's gonna leave us in a couple of bends. Basically at the campsite we camped the other night. And we're also leaving everyone else, but hoping to meet up again with them tonight. We're gonna do a different section. We're gonna do part of the Lady Evelyn River today, which is probably gonna mean our most challenging day of the trip. Probably also the most scenic, because I think there's 6 or 7 waterfalls along this stretch, so it's gonna be beautiful. But hopefully we make it through that and meet up with our friends again at the end of the day. Oof. This might be the nicest day we've had to paddle yet. This narrow section between Hobart and Blue Sucker has been super interesting. Cool little area to paddle for sure. Fly, little bird, fly.
When you guys are out, we'll figure out what to do.
Yeah, for sure, man. Have fun getting out. Yeah, John Paul's off on his own solo adventure. Hopefully Lady Evelyn is kind to him. We are now entering Betty's Hole. We've been making bad jokes about this spot for a couple days now, knowing that we're gonna pass through it. We're the only ones from our group that are gonna go through Betty's Hole on our way to the Lady Evelyn River. So we got our hole all to ourselves. Today is really what I would consider the turning point in our trip. So far on the trip, we've pretty much steadily been heading north. Today we've turned around and started heading south. Basically at this point we still have 6 days, so the trip's only half over. This section is starting to get narrow. Probably the tightest spot in Betty's Hole so far. I'm hoping it doesn't get any more narrow than this, because I'd like to keep dry feet for just a little bit longer. Go at the front. Oof. That's one way to do it. Okay, Nona? One second, Nona. Wait. Wait. And this is why you don't release party balloons. Because they end up in places like this. Great. I've probably found several party balloons along my travels. I'm going to say at least 5 or 6 in the middle of nowhere. Very unfortunate, but that's kind of a tradition. This is Chris Willis Lake, if I'm not mistaken. Just saw a beaver going for a splash. It's just a little guy though. A bit of confusion trying to find the portage. The route, the line for the route on the map goes right through these islands. And then I rolled around the corner and saw the islands. Had a closer look at the map, and I'm like, oh, okay, I know what's going on. I see the trail now. Holy, a steel boat? Oop. We're at the portage that gets us onto the Lady Evelyn River, so it's probably where the fun begins for the day.
Well, I fell and I'm stuck because I'm on a rock and the barrel is so heavy and I can't get up. So currently this is great.
Okay, very good. Oh, well that was more like the portages we're used to in Temagami. It was super slippery and sketchy in sections. Both of us fell. got us here at the top of Frank Falls. So we just got like a 30-meter little paddle over, and we're gonna park the boats and check out Frank Falls. Probably would have been an easier portage for us, because I think it's only 160 or something. We wanted to go a way that we haven't seen most of it already. First falls down. I wonder if they're going to get better than this one. A little more steep than I thought, no owners. Wait. Woo! About to take a spill. Oh, good girl. Good girl. Exactly what I wanted, Nona. Perfect. Oh, you should get bit on the nose again. You just will not leave your nose alone, eh? Nona's got a huge lump on her nose from the constant deer fly, mosquito, probably a little bit of black fly bites. I just love her nose for some reason.
This is me at the start of the Golden Staircase. Sorry guys, hard to film.
Welcome to Center Falls, location of the Golden Staircase, a famously bad portage. Probably famous for this section right behind me. It's a cool rock. This is where we might get wet feet. Can already see it. Coming into a little rapids. We're gonna try and paddle up as far as we can, and then probably gonna have to line the boats for the rest of it. That looks like a ledge, possibly. Usually going the opposite way in rapids. I think we're gonna have to line it from here.
I forgot to film going up the worst section. I would say it's worse than the Golden Staircase, which we just did. Mostly because I had tunnel vision to meet Ryan at this campsite so we could go and look at the falls. There's no trail markers. There are some cairns that people have left, but there's just so many trails, it's really easy to get lost. And it's a really steep incline and it's very long. So I was just speculating earlier that it might not feel so bad if we hadn't just climbed Maple Mountain yesterday afternoon, but it's still difficult and it is buggy. So lots to look forward to, but the falls was pretty cool.
Oh, that was one of the most brutal portages I've ever done. Golden staircase, ain't no thing, no big deal. It's only bad in that one section. It's not that bad overall. That was terrible, beginning to end. Plus, it's a campsite on the top of the hill, so there's all these offshoot trails, and it's not marked very well, so it's very confusing. If you're coming up through here, just mentally prepare yourself for that portage. She bad. It seemed like a push to get us to Bridal Veil today. Portages have been laying the beat down on us. It's still possible. I mean, heading upstream is always way worse. Coming up on a couple little rapids that I'm hoping are runnable or a lot easier to line up, and then a couple rapids that are hopefully a lot easier to run. I'm getting tired. Nope, not lineable at all. Well, I'm sure you could drag it up them, but it's not worth it. Just do the portage. Very pretty area though, I'll say that. We're at the turning point in the Lady Evelyn River. And it's been rough so far. Kind of hoping these last couple rapids take it easy on us and we can run them. But yeah, I'm getting my hopes up. I think it's pretty doubtful. Before I do this, I'm going to say I typically don't condone running whitewater without a helmet, but it looks fairly straightforward and I'm tired of portaging for the day. But yeah, don't do as I do, kids, do as I say. I'm pretty sure I could walk this if I had to. And I'm just going to take her nice and slow. Oh no, it's so clean until that. Multiple hits at the bottom. All shaded and you can't see the rocks. I'm sorry, we pushed harder than we should have today. He's gonna have a good sleep tonight. Cabin Falls is home to Hap Wilson's Eco Lodge. If you're not familiar with Hap Wilson, he's published numerous Canadian canoe route guides and books about wilderness life. The lodge is located on the opposite side of the river, but it's clearly visible from the start of the portage. That's my girl, known as Hoppy, known as Hoppy, that's my girl. That's my girl. my opinion, Bridal Veil is the most impressive falls along this section, and it's definitely worth spending a night at. It's all pretty shallow. This is an angry old river. You can tell by the path of chaos and destruction that's left in its wake. Stuff that you have to climb over. Rock boulders, logs. She's not happy. Good morning. Well, we're in for another day of fun on the Lady Evelyn River. Yesterday was a bit of a torture test, but man, the best scenery I'm pretty sure I've ever encountered. Rivers are always a bit of a torture fest in my opinion, and those of you that have been following the channel for a while know I did a lot of rivers back in the day, so I've seen a lot of stuff. It's gonna be probably a little bit even more of a rough day. Not because of the portages, but because Nona hurt her paw yesterday. We realized, where's your paw, little Nona? Where's your paw? Good. Poor girl. So she's limping around on a little bit, and of course we got a bunch of portages coming up in the next day and a half or so. We're going to try and take care of that for her as soon as we get through all these portages. Hopefully push down close to Obabika tonight and get there fairly easily tomorrow. And then she should be home free.
Not gonna film going down because it's super sketchy and I need hands. So there is a view of the steep, rocky terrain going down. And yeah, this is the worst kind of portage for me because it's heights over water and it just freaks me out. So I don't do a lot of filming on these portages. But yeah, you want to be super careful. Well, the balance beam section, so I'm just taking off the barrel and babying it across. So I'm just doing it at my own pace, a way that I'm comfortable with, and I'm still getting it done. So there's no shame in at least doing it, and this is the way I have to do it. So it's reality. Here comes Ryan.
That's sketchy.
Right in here. It's sketchy.
As an old canoeist once said to me, these ain't no namby-pamby portages. This is probably going to be the longest portage of the day. Maybe even the trip.
So our longest portage so far is the easiest portage. It's normal. Just the beginning was a bit of a boulder garden, but the rest is just pretty casual, regular portage. The river gods are favoring us. Had a bit of a scare getting my canoe. One of the bolts for the yoke was not attached, and Ryan went to attach it, so I just backtracked a little, and luckily It was right beside the boulder garden. It hadn't fallen anywhere. So, disaster avoided.
Definitely a little bony on that one. I just wanted to thank the river gods for that 670 we just did. Although it was long, it was possibly the easiest portage of this whole section. Nice and flat for most of it. All slight downhill. Thank you.
It's too big of a step for me.
Okay. I can see why my friends didn't come up that last night and try and meet us. It was a bit rough. I feel like some of the ones near the top were worse. Yeah. Again, don't condone this, but it saves us a portage, and it looks super easy. Little swifts. Starting to make better time on the river now that we're all through the hard section, I think. I don't think there's any portages left. It shows a couple little swifts on the map, so pretty easy sailing from here. Pretty sure this spells the end of the Lady Evelyn River for us. Nice view to finish it out. We just stopped for a quick lunch break on the portage called 2 Miler. It's also a campsite. This portage is long. My map shows it at a 2,225 meter portage. So it's probably going to break our record for the biggest portage. We had the other option to take 3 smaller portages and a bunch of paddling out of our way to get down to Diamond. But we're going to opt for the big portage. In my experience, it's generally faster to do this versus the in and out of the boat multiple times over ponds, especially when you got to paddle out of your way on numerous kilometers just to get to that section. I figure it's probably in total going to save us like 15 kilometers of paddling out of our way. So unfortunately, the long portage is the better option this time.
First little bit of the portage was pretty nice, and now we are in a swamp. Our favorite. We decided, rather than putting our stuff down, going back, getting a second load halfway, that we would just take a quick break at the top of a big hill and continue on. Either way, we have to do it twice. I hate the swamp. I hate it. I hate it more than anything. I hate the swamp.
Oh God, this bog made a really interesting end to the portage. Could have done without this part. In fact, without this part, it really wasn't that bad of a portage. There was a bit of a marshy section in the middle, but other than that, it was pretty easy going. Didn't mind it at all. And now we're back on Diamond, where we were like 4 days ago or something. Making good time getting back. Whew. I didn't record any really of the crossing on Diamond because it sucked. That was some of the worst wind we've had so far, but once I got so far into the paddle, I spotted this site and it was worth that. We got a beach site. First one of a trip. Oh, like a night or two at a beach site. Oh, kind of makes it like a Caribbean vacation. Oh, without all the other tourists. Oh, that was so much fun. I am wrecked. Going for a swim. So we have some paddlers on the horizon. We're assuming it's our friends. I wonder if they regret the 3 portages versus the one long one, because we've been here for like 3 hours. You made it!
Oh, I think that's our problem.
Yeah.
Just such
Same thing happened to us, but we had soaking wet feet anyways. No, wait.
You can't right now.
It's okay, I think we all need to go for a swim from what we went through today.
No.
I feel surprisingly good considering what we went through today. I don't want to wait for my feet to be wet. Oh my God, it's a little bit more beach than I thought. Come on, baby. Oh, screw it. We're just gonna work our way over to the extensive logging camp ruins that are pointed out on the map and check that out since it was right next to our site before we start making any headway today. Always worth it to stop and see the sights when possible. What's that, Nona? What's that?
Hey, can I put you down?
I'm often disappointed with so-called ruins located on the map, but this one did not disappoint and I highly recommend checking it out. There is tons to see and you could probably spend an hour just looking at all the old wreckage from the logging camp, the logging alligators, sleds, and the remains of buildings. That was kind of interesting. Watch for broken glass and nails in your feet. There was lots of potential for that when we were walking around. I was a little scared one of us was going to catch a nail in the foot. Well, some positive of today is it's raining, but there's no wind. It was one of the calmest days we've had yet. It was glorious. Loving Diamond though. It's a pretty nice lake to explore, and really it's not that hard to access. I can see why it's part of the Obabika Loop. Worth checking out. Oh yeah, there's a marker over there. Almost missed the portage.
There's one right there too.
Yeah, there's two. I think we want the one on the right. Got the 305. That one's like a 105.
Continue the other way.
Yeah.
You want it to be.
Okay, Nona. Everything in the barrel. Too rainy.
Then one more portage.
One more portage. Maybe over here. Come on. Yep, right here. Girl. Well, that portage was fun in the rain. It's more like rock climbing than portaging, just looking for little footholds because the rock was so smooth everywhere that you're just worried about sliding down and ending up with a canoe on your shoulders. Temagami never ceases to amaze or throw challenges your way.
So the portage comes out to a road, and then we set our stuff down from our first trip here because we just weren't sure exactly how far we should follow the road. And apparently it should be marked up here. Well, we've got a cairn and a flag to the left of the road, just like the map says.
I'm really hoping that this wind we're feeling is just a funnel effect on Pencil Lake, because if we come out onto Wakamika and it's this bad, it's going to be a nightmare to cross Wakamika. Seeing lots of sandbars though. At the very least, if we get windbound or something, can we be windbound on another nice beach site? Well, we did end up getting windbound on a site. Probably been here like 3 hours now. The wind is calming down a little bit, so I'm hoping we can still make our way up to Obabika tonight. Or down to Obabika, I guess. We'll see. At least we haven't got rain in a while. Wait. Okay. Okay. Come on, Nona. Come on. Good girl. Jump, 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 jump. Let's go. Good girl. Can you lay down, Nona? Paddling in the wind. Paddling in the wind. Oh God. You gotta love Big Lake on a windy day. There are petroglyphs located on the island along the east side of Wakamika, if you want to take the time to check those out. Welcome to the Wakamika River. It's more like a creek, but it's got a good current. I hardly have to paddle. Ooh, nice relaxing break after a big lake crossing in the wind. So pretty. In some ways, this reminds me of the top of the Black River, except this is somewhat maintained. As I say that, rolled around the corner and there's a leftover. That was my experience on the Black, is lots and lots of leftovers. Man, when we first got in here, I saw a bass like that big. I wasn't expecting a fish that big in here. Looks like we made it to Obabika. One of the big boxes on this trip that I want to check. I wanted to come to this lake for a long time. Let's see what it's all about. Hi, tree. Well, back on the water for another day. It's definitely sunny today. Freaking hot. And we're heading for another hike. Going to the fire tower hike on Obabika. We're gonna try and get down to the sandbar and just take a sight down there by the Obabika Portage. And just enjoy the nice day, because we haven't had many of them on this trip. Be sure to check out the grandmother and grandfather rocks along the east side of Obabika Lake, another important indigenous site. The start of the Fire Tower Trail is located on Ranger Point, which is also an epic campsite. Starting the hike to the old fire tower. That's probably not there anymore, according to my map, but the site was occupied, so we had to ask nicely for permission to pass. They were super nice and seemed interested in our maps. Surprised somebody would come out here without a map. Trail feels longer than I thought, but well, we found something. Hopefully this isn't it. Base of the old tower looks like, and a little cabin. I was hoping for a good view, but it's kind of cool just the same.
Get 48
Yeah,
over here.
I see 48 here too.
Oh.
I thought that's where you're looking at. This place has been signed to death, holy. Well, not the view we were hoping for, but super cool to see all the signatures, especially Shania Twain's grandparents. We gotta get back down to the water and try and make some headway today. You can hear the wind picking up, I think, a little bit from up here. We're hot on the tail of a camp group from the look of it. You can see 4 of the canoes. Maybe like a kilometer ahead of us or so. Hopefully we're not all chasing the same sights. Come on, Nolan. Come on. Modern something.
Modern cleaners?
What are the cleaners doing back here? Can't believe how good the paint is on this thing. Well, that was one of the most relaxed days we've had on this entire trip. Nice recovery day before we make our last push for the exit. Oh God, it's been one hell of a trip so far. Can't believe it's almost over. It's getting to that point in the trip where it's just sad. How are we gonna ever leave all this behind? I don't want to go home. Good morning. We are all packed up and ready to go. Heading for, I think, the Obabika Portage. There's a couple options to get out of this lake, but thinking that's the one we're going with to get us back over to Lake Temagami and probably our final portage for the trip. Can't believe we've gone all the way from Lake Temagami Central up to Maple Mountain and back down. Seems crazy. Last look at Maple Mountain for a while. Can't believe we can still see it from back here.
Well, it's the last portage of the trip, and it's the nicest portage we've had. It's just this really nice, big open trail. Kind of looks like an old road, and it's super casual. Even though it's an 870, it doesn't feel like it at all. And Nona's having a great time. Ready, Nona? Go, 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 go!
Fancy meeting you here.
Up until this trip, I had only encountered dead lunar moths, but saw one alive for a very brief period of time over by the fire a couple nights ago. It kind of flew up to us, and while we were trying to get a shot of it, it threw itself into the flames. So for a brief moment, got to see the beauty of a live lunar moth. Otherwise, every other one I've seen has been, you know, dead in the water, dead on the trail, or disintegrated into the fire.
Yeah, it might just not live. Yep, I'll pick you up right there. That's perfect, Nona. Okay, Nona. Well, that was a nice, easy portage to finish off the trip. Kind of reminded me of the portages coming down from Lady Evelyn smooth water to Ishpatina Ridge in Scarecrow Lake. Just long, flat, open, look like old roads or old four-wheeler trails or something like that. Yeah, it's nice to have a fairly easy last couple days so we don't go home completely wrecked. The plan is to try and hit up the chip truck on Bear Island because it's Luke's birthday. So never experienced that kind of thing on a canoe trip. Getting to go to a chip truck kind of midway, but should be a new experience. Hopefully it's still there because my map's like 10 years old. I'm pretty sure we just passed the same camp group that we passed yesterday. Again, my buddy Luke used to guide for camp groups, and he was telling us the usual routes when they do the Obabika Lake, and that they're probably going to be looking for the same campsites as us tonight. So, remember to get through this. Find ourselves a campsite. Oh, my back. My back. you ever seen them cry as a newborn moon? Or ask the dream what that quiet is? Can you paint with all the colors of a mountain? Can you paddle directly into the wind? Yeah. Every day? Might possibly be the biggest, most open water we've had on the entire trip. Looks like a pretty epic expanse from right here. Bumper boats. Maybe Andrew sank. I'm officially seeing some memories from the first day that we started on this trip. There's kind of a rock slide hill over there, and I remember going around that the first day when we were paddling into Witch's Point. What a cool old place. Looks like she needs some love though. Well, I think we were all a little disappointed to learn that the chip truck hasn't been here in 20 years. Apparently my map is that outdated. Good morning. It's last morning in the trip, and we only got 3.5K or so to get out of here. Hard to believe it's our last morning already. Went by in a flash, as it always does. This was one hell of a trip. It laid the beat down on us some days, but we made it. Hard to believe we've been from the south end of the map to the north end of the map and back down again. Pretty much where we started now. It's crazy. Feel like my arms are not wanting to go today. I had a fairly big paddle yesterday, and fairly big paddle a lot of the previous days. Can't get over the beauty out here though. It's hard to beat the Temagami nature, scenery. That's what keeps me coming back. Hopefully I'll be coming back here for a long, long time. Well, I see it put in. Now's the point in time when we get to find out if the jump ball made it out alive or not. How we did hiding Luke's keys. Oh, what's that?
Oh,
A set of keys.
you gonna hold it or me?
Well, that's another adventure in the books. It was a good one. Now get out there for some adventures of your own. They're waiting for you.